Hey, who's ready? Who's ready? Who's ready? I got to bring the energy because I know it's lunch. You're eating. Don't choke on it because she doesn't do good Heimlich maneuvers.
CPR certified.
So we're super excited to be out here today. We're going to kind of keep the energy up a little bit. We're going to be a little interactive with you. We are going to bring you some strategies on team building, what it looks like to start a team, should you start a team, things of that nature. So I'm going to turn it over to my lovely colleague, our Director of Growth, Director of Operations, former EA, former Transaction Coordinator, the longest employee that's stuck with me, which is usually 6 months, has stayed 5 years.
Even after being a TC for Justin.
Yes.
So that was fun. That's how it started.
Who was more challenging to work for, Justin or myself?
Am I on the clock?
Who wants to hear stories about Justin's childhood? Any hands in the house? All right. No, I promised I wouldn't do that to him.
Andrew already talked about him being in diapers.
He was in my bathtub when he had come up with the BA and he was interviewing Shireen. I will confirm that.
Can I get that clicker?
Yeah, do we have a clicker? Anybody? Maybe she'll bring it up from the back.
Thank you. Just the green needs go.
So we were, because I'm military, as you saw on my slides, we were going to have everybody do jumping jacks, but I thought that might not be the wise choice with food in your fresh bellies.
Right. It might warm you up. It's a little chilly in here.
And she despises exercise, so it would be fun to watch her have to do jumping jacks. So go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Brooke Langston. I used to live in Colorado for a few years when I was hired. Moved back to Pennsylvania. So I'm in the Northeast. Work fully remotely for the team. Co-owner of Thrive Transaction Coordination. Do some joint venture, title, mortgage with Mike as well. Have been with the team for almost 5 years. Quite a ride.
Also a Spear coach. I don't know if you said that or not. So she
Spear
is what you saw up on there, giving a lot of education and training around teams for the Spear Rocket people.
Nope.
Cool.
That's me.
All right. So I want you guys to participate with me for just a minute, if you would, appease me. If you are a military veteran, will you stand up for us, please? Military veterans, please stand up. Thank you so much for your service, men, women. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Stay standing for me, please. If you're in civil service type job or know somebody that is or a family member is, fire, police, any of that stuff, would you please stand up as well? Nurses, doctors, you name it. Thank you very much. Single mom. If you're a single mom and you wish to show yourself, please take a stand. Thank you so much for giving of your kids. Thank you. I appreciate that. We just want to show a little gratitude. You can have your seats now. Thanks so much. We like to start our presentations with a little bit of warmness and a little bit of loving and caring, and thank those that are really important in our lives as well. So, without further ado, I think we want to ask one more question of you all. Who has a team that has at least one agent, or two agents, right? You and another agent. Not really husband-wife. We could throw husband-wife in there. Cool. Who has a team that's over 10 agents on your team?
Got a few hands.
Cool. I'm just assessing what our audience is in the room, so I appreciate that.
Who has the goal of building a team? Nice.
Who wants to learn more about teams, whether you're looking forward to it or not? Awesome. Okay, we just want to make sure that we weren't going to be like total duds up here, like nobody wants to run teams or everybody's got billion team members.
Take advantage of the accelerator program and the coaches that are offered to you by Justin. How to build a team. 2:30 Central on Tuesdays. Executive admin, transaction management, all that good stuff. That's what's going to help you be a better leader and build that team. So attend them. Stay committed. Grow your business. Grow your life.
Brooke was the one Justin mentioned where he said he really loves her and likes her a lot, so I'm not sure about all that. But with that being said, he did say give contracts to, that we're willing to give out some of our material and contracts and things like that.
Franklin said yesterday, R&D, rip off and duplicate. Our contracts, we didn't create them. We took them from someone else.
Yep.
So.
Cool. All right, thanks. We're going to go ahead and get started on the slide deck. So here we go. Double check your decision. So step number one, the first thing I hear from most people is, I want to build a team. And the question I always have to ask is the why, which we're probably going to get to that. One thing we didn't discuss is her job is to keep me in line because I go off script. I talk forever, and she's fearful that I'm going to knock her off the stage as I'm walking around and pacing. So have your cameras ready. So if I do knock her off the stage on accident, we've got some YouTube material.
I'm going to just take a couple of steps back. Mike likes to squirrel like your atypical agent, so that's the only reason why I'm up here. So yeah, like Mike said, double check your decision. That's step one. Just because you want to build a team doesn't necessarily mean that you should. We're pretty blunt about that. First, ask yourself, do you have enough volume to make it work? Are you turning away leads because you're so busy and you can't work them? Maybe that's a reason to start a team. Next, are you ready to be a team leader? Just because you're a good solo agent doesn't mean that you have the traits of a leader right now. Maybe you need to go through some processes, some training, some things like that in order to gain those traits and understand what it takes to be a great leader.
Who do you know that is the greatest salesperson ever but can't read a P&L? They can't schedule flexible time, right? They're not business owners in a lot of cases. They're great at sales, but they're terrible business owners. Same thing with the leaders, right? We go like, let's build a team, and the Rainmaker is the team leader, and the agents are constantly bouncing out, and it's because the team leader didn't have leadership skills. I think the most pivotal thing in my world is being a leader. I focus so much of my time and energy and training on leadership because I think leadership penetrates everything. Family, friends, relationships, partners, you name it, right? People you work with. Leadership, I believe, is one of the most important qualities anybody can have.
Lastly, are you starting a team for the right reasons? So like Lindsay talked about yesterday, what's your big why or your big my, right? Have an understanding of what that is and what your reasoning is. Is it just for you to make a lot of money? Because if that's the case, you probably shouldn't be a leader of a team, right?
One of the first mistakes I see people make is it's easy to form a partnership with another agent, or so you think. We're going to build a team. This one sucks over here. I'm not doing great at business. Let's put us both together and make it work. That's a disaster. That's a disaster. It's so much more complicated. You've got to build admins. You've got to build systems. You've got to build value. You've got to build staff. You've got to build a lot of things that is the beginning stages before you get to that agent-to-agent relationship. So it goes back to what she was saying is, what's your why? Justin talked about it. Several people talked about it. If you're pouring into other people and you're helping their businesses grow, and that's your primary motivation, the rest will come. I'm telling you, the rest will come. If you help others be successful, the rest will come. If you leave anything out of here, that is it. I don't care if it's me talking to her at a break and I can pour some value into her. I'm memorable. She might have an opportunity in the future. Not that that's why I'm having the conversation, but I built a relationship because I came from value.
So let me ask you, Mike, why did you start a team?
Why did I start a team? Because the same thing. I needed leverage, honestly, first, because we were doing enough deals that I was like, most agents that are doing 35, 40, 50 deals without leverage are like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Like, my marriage is falling apart. Like, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? So we started with the admin side, so I needed the leverage. Got the admin. You were first hire?
First hire.
I sucked her in.
Best hire. He didn't want to hire me.
That's a story in itself. I'm like, no, not this one. Not this one.
His wife is the real boss.
Oh, there she is. Stand up, Trace. That's his mom. It's not my wife because I'm Justin's brother, so she's my mom.
He's
That's
full
weird.
of shit.
That's weird. I shouldn't say that. That's weird.
So to Mike's point, I mean, I'm standing here for a reason. After 5 years, right? He didn't just start a team for himself. He started it to make a bigger life for himself, but also make a bigger life for other people. And that's honestly like the culture of the organization and what he has built and what he's poured into the people coming across the team and through the team. It's huge. It's priceless. And we will be partners in business for life.
That's what leadership does. Leadership brings the right people in, puts them in an opportunity to succeed, pours into them to be successful, gives them the tools that they need to be successful, and commits to a long-term business relationship of growth. She is here today, I believe, not because I'm a great person. She sees growth opportunities. She is part owner of several companies that are verticals to our business. She earned that right. She worked her butt off for us.
I ate a lot of ramen noodles. I will just tell you that.
I mean, she was competing between, an Applebee's server and a TC job for me, right? So I figured I was doing all right.
I would have made more at Applebee's. All right, next step. Get your systems in order. Easier said than done. There's a lot of systems to get in order. We'll give you a quick list. That's why we're here today. If you're looking to build a team or you have a team, you probably have some sort of leverage building systems for you, right? It's not you. If it is, leverage it out. U.S.-based person, virtual assistant, whatever your P&L is ultimately dictating you to do. Whatever your needs in your 1 year, your 3 year, your 5 year plan is telling you what to do. Have business plans and goals, right? Have a vision, purpose, and a brand. Who are you? What do you want to be? What do you want your company to evoke to other people, right? Marketing and advertising, database and referral systems. All of these things, virtual assistant, U.S.-based executive admin can help you do. Don't do it alone.
I've coached enough agents that one of the struggle points they have early on is they just had to hit the door hard every time, hit their head on the door a lot until they got business. They didn't document their systems, though. And what happens is naturally they've learned it through hard knocks a lot of times that is never documented. And then what happens is they get busy. They get to 30 transactions, like Justin said, whatever it is, and their systems aren't documented. It's almost like hiring a VA where you have to step back a little bit because you're going to have to train that VA. Well, that's the other thing. If you don't have your systems documented right now, shame on you. I'm just going to tell you, shame on you. You're missing an opportunity. Missing an opportunity. And most people that are at high production probably went through that same path, right? I see some heads shaking. Like they didn't document their systems until they realized, how am I going to hire somebody and train somebody if I don't even know what my systems are? Yeah, and now you're doubling up your time of training somebody and documenting. Now, I'm a pretty good systems guy. I worked at IBM for 19 years and, of course, the military for 20 years. I knew how to follow technical orders. I knew how to write up some processes, but I didn't always spend the right time doing it. So that was our first hire. My executive admin. So my executive admin was Brooke, and I said, your first job is to come here and follow me 24 hours is weird.
Joy.
But business hours, follow me and document all of our process. Go to my console, go to all these things, right? I squirreled again, so we'll get back on topic.
Yeah. Speaking of leverage, so you got to think of it this way. To go fast, do it alone. To go far, higher leverage, right? Mm-hmm. Leverage will help you go fast, but you're not going to go far alone. Some other systems are on the screen here, so you guys see those. Financial productivity and profitability reports and forecasts. Own your business. Be an owner of your business. Don't fly by the seat of your pants. It won't work. Step 3, hire the right role at the right time. So much easier said than done. So kind of going through the steps, hire your admin first. Like I said, either the U.S.-based virtual assistant, whatever that might be. You should have that vision and that 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan set out before you even hire a first person. You need to set that vision for that first admin.
Ask any successful person in this room that's like in an executive level or perhaps an owner of the team, and they will tell you, these are the people that run your business. It's not Justin. It's not me. It's not John Kitchens. It's their strong admins.
Next up, buyer's agent. So like I said earlier, do you have enough volume to make it work? Are you turning away leads? And now you need to bring on a buyer agent. You don't want to bring on a buyer agent without any systems in place, and that admin is there to build that system, right? You need the admin first. You got to be able to provide value to that buyer agent if you're taking a split back from them.
And I can see this model deviating a little bit. You may go showing assistant first and then grow them into a buyer's agent. Now you may be paying 10% splits instead of a 50-50 model, right? So you can grease in your profits a little bit more by doing a showing assistant first. But it's going to just look different for each person's business is what I would say. But I would almost go showing assistant first, newly licensed, show them the ropes. graduate them into a buyer's agent, so on and so forth.
Yep. And like Mike said, there's so many different routes to take and models to follow. You got to do what's best for you and your business. And again, allow your P&L to dictate what you do.
Yeah. In fact, one just little side note, like we are now moving into, they have to be an inside sales agent first, then they become a showing assistant, then they become a buyer's agent. Because how many agents, when you have a lot of internet leads, and that's a business that we're in, don't want to pick up the phone and call? Well, I want to run them through the ISA world so they can appreciate what an ISA does, number one, being on the phone 6 hours a day. Anyways, you're going to make or break them real quick. Is real estate for me? I'm not saying everybody has to do cold calling with phones, but that's just our model. So I want to get them out quick if they're not willing to pick up the phone and do lead
generation. Keeps me from beating my head against a wall. Next up, again, do you have more leads than you and your buyer agent can handle, or do you need more leads? Think about hiring an ISA if you need more leads. They will go generate more leads, or an OSA, for example, or another buyer agent. Keep your listings as long as humanly possible. It's the easiest thing for you to process in a real estate transaction, right? Heavy administrative, you have your admin to help process those. But once you want to get out of production, like I think Jana was talking about yesterday, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. You're working yourself into phase 3 slowly but surely.
Yep. And the first thing I hear from most agents who are tired of working with buyers and sellers, they're very successful, they have no schedule, is how do I get out of production? I want out of production. Well, Justin gave you reoccurring opportunities. This is another reoccurring opportunity. But if you're just working listings and you're collecting the 100%, like I'm out of production, so I'm very leveraged out right now. I'm not having buyers and sellers call me right now. I pass all that to the team, but I'm able to do that because we built a team that I could build profitable-wise. Yeah, as you scale your business, your profit percentage generally goes down. Like, you know, a single agent might be 60 or 70% profitable, right, after company dollars and things. Teams are going to run at about 30%, right? Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more. However, you're doing 30% on 2.2 million, 30% on 4 million, right? So that's the name of the game. And I have a life. Well, she would say I don't have a life, but I feel like I have a life.
Some other roles to think about: marketing director, branding yourself, right? Getting your name out there. Showing assistant, in-house transaction coordinator, personal assistant. Grow your ISA department if that's something that you have a goal of doing. Do your research before you go make the hire. Do your research before you implement a brand new department, because that's not something that, like, if you ISA department, what is that ISA going to be doing? Hire to the role, right? Hire to the need. You may not need it.
So you can see why this is so complicated, because you want a buyer's agent, you got to write a job description. You better put training in place, because if you're doing the team model where it's like, hey, come join my team, I'm going to take 50% of your business, and I might give you a TC, but that's about it. How long do those teams last? They don't usually, right? Because the buyers...
We take them.
Yeah.
We'll take them.
We provide so much value, we believe, in our systems that a lot of... And the hard part for us to overcome a lot of times is I've been on a team before. I'm a little leery to get on a team because I got a bad experience with a team before. And now I got to kind of heal them through that process and go, we're different. So...
All right, step 4, understand your team values. What are your values? Right? Dustin talked a lot about that yesterday. Understanding them. It starts with yourself. What are your values? You can't have a team with values that you don't believe in, right? You can't have a team of values that your team members don't believe in. You all have to have the same mission, vision, values, right? Perspectives, beliefs. You have to have it all. It's
one of the things for any W-2 or agent joins our team, we go through that with the recruiting package. Because the other thing with values is I can go back and say, hey, one of our values is hardworking. It's kind of a loose term, but you're not showing up every day and lead generating. So this isn't me being a bad guy. You said in the beginning that one of your values you bought into was hardworking. Are you hardworking right now? No, I'm not. Okay, then you're not working with the values that you agreed to come into the business. Now, it's not me being a bad guy. It's like, hey, the value, and you're not standing to the value.
The question, somebody stuck with me yesterday, I forget who had said it, but are you a potential 10 talent and showing up as a 4? Right? That was super powerful yesterday. And that's the hardworking mentality in our values. Know that bad hires cost time, money, culture. Right? Fire fast, get them out. Same with agents.
I promise you, if anybody is running a sizable business in here, I'm going to get a little bit real with you for a minute. You have one person you need to terminate in your business. That sounds bad, but I promise you, you have an underperformer in your business that you're just letting stay in your business because you like them. You feel sorry for them. You know there's a situation that they're dealing with. I'm not here to say go home and fire people, but you need to think about that because your business doesn't grow unless you have the best talent and the hardest working talent in those positions.
Yep. Don't hire the first set of hands that you find, right? Use personality assessments, DISC assessments, crystal reports, things like that. Get a better understanding of who they are and how they're going to fit into your company and ultimately how they're going to fit into your values, right?
Quick story, because Justin always has his most embarrassing statements out there. Who's ever partnered with their wife at work, right, or their husband as a W-2 employee? I gave an annual review to my wife in her first year in the business.
That's why I was hired. Tracy's like, get me the hell out.
We're still married, but she's like, you better hire somebody else, fool. Something Wayne Salmons has on Hero Nation. You can talk with him a little bit. It combines like 4 or 5 different personality assessments and dumps them into kind of one report.
It's pretty neat. It's interesting sitting there and being like, okay, this is how Mike and I interact with each other. This is how we should interact with each other. So you can kind of see how your team members line up on a scale and how to best approach them, things like that. So it's pretty cool. Step 5. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, here's an example of ours, you guys, whatever you want to do with that. But this is like what we try to instill into our business model.
Accountability in all things is number 1.
Yep. I think that's a lot. Some of our agents, our partners here are on the team. They're here. I think if you asked any of them, one of the biggest things they get out of is the accountability piece. We're very driven around the numbers, the metrics, the standards, and it's all about accountability for us.
Step 5, create a structure that works. You need a framework. You need a foundation. It's not going to work without it. Your experience, your goals, and preferences will determine which model works for you. There are a bunch of models out there. Just because we got to 5 years later in our production and how we got there doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. Right? We went out and met with teams that were producing at 3, 4, 5, 10 times the rate we were. We met with 10 of them and said, okay, I like this, I like this, I like that. I think this will work for us. This follows our 5-year vision. Not one model is going to work for everybody. Get the math right to start.
Know your numbers. Like, I'm a big numbers guy. I just am, because numbers don't lie. I mean, yeah, you can make them wordsmithed or whatever you want, but the reality of it is the numbers do not lie. If you just use non-emotions and look at the numbers will tell you what you need to do next. Justin's given those examples. For every X dollars, I put it back into hiring another VA. Why does he do that? He knows his numbers. He knows what he's going to get on a return by bringing on another VA. He knows his numbers.
Your profit goal needs to be set at the beginning of every year. That's going to dictate your expenses. That's going to dictate how many units you need to produce and how many agents you need and what your cost of sales are and splits and all of that. Starts with profit, right? Profit first.
Yep.
Yeah? Just to mastermind with them. So come to conferences like this, find people who are doing better than you are, right?
Yep.
Pick their brain.
I'm a big traveler, like Justin said, was to network with a lot of people, because I'm definitely not the smartest dude in this room. I promise you that. So I want to meet with other smart people that can help my business as well, and that's exactly why we're here.
Step 6, the most important one, don't beat yourself up. Hiring right is not easy, and leadership will be the hardest lesson you learn. It will be. You'll probably fail at things, and that's fine. We failed 100 times. You got to fail forward. You got to look at those failures and make them opportunities for the future, right? Learn from people around you. Like I said, ask questions, study the models, understand the numbers, and you'll do well.
Yep, agreed. Make sure you're learning from the right people, though. Because not all, as you know, in the production world, not all agents are equal in their service levels, right, or in their professionalism. So make sure you're in the right rooms, I should say. I wouldn't just learn from anybody just because we know there's a lot of perhaps subpar talent in our industry at times. So
you said that very nicely. Who you surround yourself with matters, right? The 5 people closest to you make the biggest impact in your life.
Right on time. We did it. We got like 3 minutes. We got a couple more things that we're going to present to you, but she's like, there's no way you're staying on time, period, in a sentence. Cool. You want to talk about this? You want me to talk about this?
You got it, and I'll give the details.
Cool.
You have no idea
this is just a way for us to have fun, give some extra accountability around things. We get zero out of this other than relationships. We're going to do for realtors like a 30-day boot camp challenge. We're not making any profit on this, nothing like that. I'm going to let Brooke get into the details. But the biggest thing that we struggle with, and you've heard time and time again in our business, is consistency. We're not consistent. We know what we need to do, we just don't do it. So we're going to put a little friendly competition together, even though there's a little bit of money at skin, because like sending your kids to college, when they're not paying for it, they don't sometimes treat it as seriously. So when you make them pay for it, it's kind of a similar concept here. So
I think I heard the word consistency like 7 to 9 times yesterday, and people's businesses not growing because of the lack of consistency, right? We heard that a lot. This 30-day challenge is meant to bring consistency in your life. It's basically each day you're going to be completing 5 sphere calls, 5 follow-ups, and 1 video, 30-second minimum. It's called a 5-5-1, every single day for 30 days. Every week there's going to be a different task just to be completed throughout the week, whether that's getting 25 reviews or adding 50 people to your database or creating your own unique value proposition if you don't have it. So there's 4 different things throughout the 30 days in addition to the 5-5-1.
I'm going to call this a boot camp for Navy SEALs of real estate world because it's just towards real estate agents because that's my profession, right? So if you want to be an elite, if you don't get into it because I'm pretty hardcore, all right? It's an elite thing. It will grow your business, no doubt about it, 100%. And that's our whole objective on this.
And like we said, accountability in all things, so there is accountability around this. I'll give you guys a link. It'll tell you a little more information about it, too, for the fine print that's up here. You will get copies of our unique value proposition, some local business interviews that our agents have done that you'd be expected to do in week 2, some things like that. The link is here. Basically, it's a $275 buy-in. If you lose the challenge, it goes to charity.
We get nothing out of it. We're going to have 4 charities that you're going to get to choose from. Like, we're not going to pick it. We're going to give you 4 and then let you guys, like, vote for whichever one so it doesn't look like I'm steering it into a charity. That charity. If you do complete the 30-day real estate challenge, you will get 250 of your 275 back. The 25 will still go to charity. So, we're not trying to make any money on this. It's truly just wanting to get a bunch of badasses and a bunch of elite people together that want to get in here and kick the shit out of some stuff. Like, who's going to push each other harder than the badasses? Navy SEALs don't hang out with there you go. Yeah, exactly. They don't, right? They don't. They hang out together because they can push each other to greatness. This is a small way. Like, I don't expect, like, big rainmakers to jump into this, but if your business is not consistent right now, no damn reason you shouldn't sign up for this. It's just a free giveaway for us. We're just trying to help you push your business. Yes, sir?
It'll start June 1st.
So we're just trying to get everybody enrolled. This is all just free from us. So, like, I'm committing staff to, like, help you guys and track stuff. So I'm not making any money on it. So I can't do this for 500 people because I have a business to run too. So it'll start June 1st. When you guys go to that Google form and the link or the QR code here, it'll ask you to join the Facebook group so that it's private for everybody who wants to partake in this, just for some interaction on that Facebook group, accountability, competitive hearts, things like that. So previously,
if I can figure it out, yeah.
So when you go to that link, I think we have a landing page, and it'll give you all the details and all that kind of stuff. It's really just a big accountability thing. And I'm hardcore. Like, you don't post your results on a day, Thanks for the $250. This charity really appreciates your failure to, post your stuff for the day. It's 30 days, guys. I mean, it's 30 days. You can do it.
Accountability in all things.
Look at that. 5, 4. I'm just going to stay up here. Can everybody give me a round of applause because I was on time? Now, we're done.